One news from Kanpur, where the tobacco baron has pushed the driver alibi. The tycoon KK Mishra tries every trick in the book. The car was damaged. Excuse after the ghost driver. Father said mechanic fixed the car day before the crash. Shivam was unconscious after the crash is what he said. Now the argument that was being given is that there was a driver behind the wheels and Shivam Mishra, the VVIP brat, wasn't, is what is now being said, when the visuals show just the opposite.
गाड़ी लंबोगनी कुछ उसमें खराबी हो गई थी। जिस दिन ये घटना घटी है उसके एक दिन पहले मिस्त्री बाहर से आके उसने गाड़ी को कुछ ठीक किया, जो भी उसमें टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम थी। उसके बाद में दूसरे दिन शिवम और ड्राइवर दो आदमी उस गाड़ी को टेस्टिंग के लिए ले गए। सिविल लाइन से लेके वो धीरे वापस आ रहे थे। उसी बीच में जहाँ ये घटना घटित हुई है उसके पास जब घटना घटित हुई है उसके पहले शिवम को कुछ झपकी आने लगी। ऐसा ड्राइवर को सोचने लगा कि इनको हुआ क्या, झपकी ऐसी लगने लगी। तो उन्होंने उसके एक हाथ छोड़कर शिवम के पीछे हाथ लगाया और साथ में ही सुनिए, साथ में ही उसके साथ में ही जब उसमें हाथ लगाया गाड़ी स्लो हो गई। गाड़ी स्लो होने के बाद में ब्रेक मारा उसने, तब तक एक टेम्पो वाला आ गया, उसने साइड से टक्कर मारी। गाड़ी लेफ्ट साइड रुकी, इन्होंने ब्रेक मारा, गाड़ी ब्रेक से रुक गई। रुक जाने के बाद में फिर वो ड्राइवर ने उसकी अचेत अवस्था देख के परेशान हो गया। गाड़ी उसका शीशा नहीं खुल रहा था, पीछे सिक्योरिटी जो आ रही थी उसने देखा कि परेशान है, भैया आगे झुके हुए हैं। सिक्योरिटी ने आगे देखा कि दरवाजा उसका लॉक ऑटोमेटिक हो गया। उन्होंने उसको देखा कि खुल नहीं रहा, अंदर से ड्राइवर परेशान है, उसका हाथ इधर है, इधर से परेशान है, तो उन्होंने उसको ठोका, नहीं खोला, शीशा भी नहीं। तो उन्होंने गुम्मे से जिस तरीके से तोड़ के उसका शीशा खोला, तो अंदर हाथ डाल के जैसे भी दरवाजा खोला, बहुत मुश्किल से दरवाजा खुला। जैसे दरवाजा खुला तुरंत ड्राइवर भी बहुत घबरा गया था, उतर के बाहर आया और उसने उनको पकड़ के खींचने की कोशिश की।
कल वकील द्वारा शिवम मिश्रा के वक्तव्य दिया गया कि गाड़ी जो है उनका ड्राइवर चला रहा था। पुलिस से रिपोर्ट मांगी गई है कि पुलिस के आधार पर ही जो है कोर्ट शायद वो कार्रवाई करेगी। आप लोग का क्लियर स्टैंड क्या है, गाड़ी कौन चला रहा था?
ये शुरुआती दौर में देखा होगा आपने कि जो तौफीक जो इंजर्ड था उनकी एप्लीकेशन पे एफआईआर पंजीकृत होती है, जिसमें गाड़ी का नंबर होता है केवल और ड्राइवर का डिटेल नहीं होता है। हमारी टीम उस पर, हमारा जो विवेचक है इन्वेस्टिगेशन करता है और इन्वेस्टिगेशन में वो सीसीटीवी फुटेज और लोगों के उसके डिटेल होगा और गाड़ी का डिटेल लेकर के हमें पता लग जाता है ये गाड़ी किसकी है और गाड़ी ड्राइव कौन कर रहा था। इनके विवेचना में उनका नाम आया है तो हमारे पास पुख्ते सबूत होंगे, इसके आधार पर उनका नाम आया। तो गाड़ी को ड्राइव कर रहे थे शिवम मिश्रा कर रहे थे। उनका अधिवक्ता कुछ भी कहें, लेकिन हमारी जांच में शिवम मिश्रा जो है गाड़ी को ड्राइव कर रहे थे और उन्हीं के खिलाफ वैधानिक कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
Simar has been reporting on that story relentlessly. I'm going to go across to him for more on that. Simar, from day one, there's been an attempt to cover up. It's a perfect anatomy of a cover-up right now. All sorts of excuses that the father, the business tycoon, is giving at this point in time. Talk to us a little about what next for Shivam Mishra. What about his so-called medical condition? What are you learning from your sources?
Well, as far as today's development is concerned, Shivam Mishra has been moved to Delhi, far away from the jurisdiction of Kanpur police. It's said that he has a medical condition for which he is getting the treatment in Delhi. Now it remains to be seen. We have to cross-verify it because, the same argument was given for Kanpur itself. When he was found from the spot, taken away from the bouncers, it was said that he, in fact, was taken to the hospital, which wasn't the case. He was, in fact, taken to the house. So ever since the cover-up has been, the police. First of all, we saw that the SHO was in fact suspended due to the lapses in the investigation, in the primary investigation for giving VVIP treatment. After that, we have been seeing there is a deliberate attempt from the side of the counsel of Shivam Mishra to cover up this whole story. But now the police stand is very clear that the lawyer must say anything they can, but our stand is very clear that Shivam Mishra is the person who is driving the car. We have all the proofs, we have all the videos which will be presented in front of the court. But another development is that in court an affidavit has been given by a random person named Mohan, who claims that he was the driver and he was driving the Lamborghini car when this whole incident happened. So he has taken all the charges on himself. And the similar stand has been maintained by the father of Shriram Mishra, KK Mishra, who said that his son wasn't driving the car. So that has been a scenario as of now. Now it's Kanpur police stand versus the stand of Shriram Mishra and his counsel. KK Mishra has gone on record to say that the Kanpur police commissioner is lying. But we have been seeing that the several claims made by Kanpur police that they do not think that anything can manipulate the investigation. They are going to file a charge sheet as soon as possible, and Shriram Mishra is going to be the accused in this very particular case. So then too, the ball is in the court of the legal from the court, who will decide that what will happen, whether the car will be released from the police station or not, or whether the bail, anticipatory bail, will be granted or not. Because as per the council, the police might increase the sections in this very particular case. But as far as today's scenario is concerned, there is no arresting, no section for the arrest. In fact, the legal punishment is that in 7 years. That means the police cannot arrest the accused in very particular case. But the kind of the limelight this whole incident has got, the pressure was on the police to in fact prepare a charge sheet and file it into the court. The police has also submitted a report in the court regarding this particular matter, which was asked by them. But then too, it still remains to be seen that what further developments will happen in this area.
Okay, all right. It's a developing story. I'm going to leave it there for the moment. Simar getting in those details from Kanpur at this point in time. Let's now go across to my colleague Sakshi Batra of Business Today Television, who joins us with all the latest news as far as the markets are concerned. Over to you, Sakshi.
Look, this investment guru's tips will double your money. Just claim the offer.
Double your money from any random group. Pay attention. Promising double returns, they'll lure you in tight. Unverified groups will send fake tips overnight, emptying your pockets before you can fight. SEBI and NSE advise, consult only SEBI registered advisors and make payments only to verified accounts or UPI IDs. An investor awareness initiative by SEBI and NSE.
Presented by National Stock Exchange. Co-powered by Purvankara, the art of development celebrating 50 years.
Good afternoon, you're watching the Business Today show, our market closing show on India Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra, and here is where we will get you all the closing action on Dalal Street. Let's quickly look at how the markets are trading at this point in time. 0.3% higher for the Nifty. We're inching closer to the 26,000 mark. We've had some choppiness along the way, but we've still held on above that 25,950 mark for a large part. Most of the sectors are also holding positive. Look into the auto space, that's definitely driving in the fast lane. Media stocks are higher, metals shining bright. You also have the broader markets seeing a lot of gain as well. Oil and gas, real estate, IT, these are all the sectors that are hovering higher. But the ones that have slipped lower are pharma and PSU banks, seeing clear case of profit taking on PSU banks. On the Nifty, which are the top gainers at this point? Well, it's Zomato's parent, Eternal, that's actually trading at a 3-month high, 5.5% higher in trade. Tata Steel is up by 3%. ONGC, Bajaj Auto, M&M from the auto pack, all of these stocks that are buzzing in trade anywhere between 1.5% to about 5.5% higher. On the downside, you have some finance names like Bajaj Finance, Shriram Finance that's down, HCL Technologies, Dr. Reddy's. You also have Bharti Airtel and TCS among those stocks that are still hovering lower in trade. Apart from this, there are several other pockets that are in focus. Textiles have taken a beating today after 2 to 3 days of consecutive gains in trade. We're also looking at a lot of stock-specific action on the basis of earnings that are coming in. Of course, we'll be focusing on them once our guest also joins in soon. But first up, the big breaking for you viewers. It's about Indigo from the aviation space. Indigo is ready as the FDTL relaxation now ends today. This is as per the sources as they are telling Business Today Television. DGCA has cleared Indigo's crew readiness As per the sources, Indigo now Indigo boosts standby pilots, crew buffers. That's something that we have to look at. Also, more pilots per aircraft under full FDTL norms are concerned. Sources have told us all of this information, and we're waiting for Karishma Sudani to join in to share more details as per her sources. Karishma is with us now. Hi Karishma, warm welcome, good afternoon. That's an important update that you're getting with respect to Indigo. We've seen how all of December and January we've been tracking how Indigo's operations fell behind because of being unable to fulfill those FDTL norms. Tell us, what is the update now?
Well, Sakshi, I think the fact that Indigo is already running on a curtailed limit of close to say 1850 flights domestically, which of course is a result of the decision by DGCA as to have not complied to the FTDL norms last year, and also a 22 crore penalty that has been recently slapped on them. Now, going forward, what we are picking up, and we're picking this up also from the regulator sources, is that a latest meeting that was held last week by DGCA to overview the process and review how the airline capacity currently looks like. It seems that the airline has been able to assemble a few buffer crew and also add standby pilots to their list in order to minimize as much as disruptions as they could going further, and which means they will not be given this extension of exemption further, which is also fair because the other airlines in the country have also been complying. A media report also quoted that about 7.2 sets up of roster has been added. We have not been able to individually verify the number, but certainly we've been told that it's been up than what it was in December.
So, Karishma, what is the government going to be really tracking when it comes to the operations? Are they back on scale? And, as Indigo goes full FDTL, what will be under watch to finalize and to, ensure that they are back on track?
Well, the DGC has already been monitoring the case for 2 months. As we understand that aviation is a deregulated sector in the country, so there is not much that the government can or the regulator can do in terms of monitoring the airfares, which are bound to rise because of the summer schedule and depletion of the capacity by 10% or so by India's largest airline by market cap. Our DGC is ensuring that there are as minimal disruptions at the airport by ensuring that there are no issues with the FTDL norms specifically, which were rolled out by them last year.
Okay, Karishma, thanks a lot for all those updates. Of course, you will be tracking this story and getting us more details on how many more crew members have been added to Indigo's fleet to ensure that they can get back onto the full FDTL, norms and operate according to those norms as well. Let me welcome our guest on board. We have a market guest, Neeraj Diwan, joining in on the program. Neeraj, welcome to you. Good afternoon. First up, help us understand with your take on Indigo. We've just heard from sources telling us on Business Today television that the DGC has cleared their readiness, Indigo's readiness for the full FDTL norms. How would you look at Indigo? Of course, it has had 2 to 3 months of extreme volatility. The stock has taken a beating as well. Do you think finally, because it continues to remain the largest airline by profitability and by fleet size as well, how would you really look at it as an opportunity for investors now that things seem to be back on track?
Yeah, good afternoon. They actually definitely, as per market share also, they are the largest and they have a considerable market share. So post the recent couple of months of turmoil and the correction that we saw in Indigo, I think for a long-term investor, definitely this looks an opportunity. But one needs to watch that, because now that the time that they had is over, now they have to go with the new FTTL norms. So let's see how the performance is of the airline. You'll be able to track it easily with so much of media spotlight on the company and the airlines. So I think let's track that, and then I think for a long-term investor, definitely there's an opportunity.
Okay, got that. Well, on the markets per se, Neeraj, what is your overall understanding? We've had two of the biggest events underway in the first week of February, the budget and the US-India trade deal. The contours are also out. How do you perceive the markets and the opportunities in the offing? Do you think most of the good news is already in the price now?
There are two, three things. One, of course, like to mention, budget was something not to discuss. And it's like a non-event, because nothing happened with the budget, the kind of budget that was announced. But definitely the India-US trade deal came as a surprise. It was not expected to come so soon. So that was a good positive surprise that the markets got. And even leaving that aside, the corporate results which are coming now have been pretty good. You look at the large names like Tata Steel or a State Bank or L&T, all the large caps and all mid caps are coming out a good set of results. So that is what is more important, I think. See, market has made a base, market is consolidated. So there's no negative news or no negative sentiment that is there. So if the corporate results are what they were till now and they continue to be so good, so I think then maybe you made a base for a good, next 6 to 8 months in the market.
Okay. Viewers, another breaking news coming up on your screens now, and this is with respect to India's Russian crude oil imports as well. Now, sources are telling Business Today television that the Russian crude imports estimated that the Feb Russian crude imports are likely to slump by 0.8 million barrels per day to diversify the crude imports from Middle East, West Africa. We are also diversifying crude imports from Brazil, Nigeria, and Russian crude oil imports are likely to decline post the US-India trade deal. And we have Aishwarya Patil getting us all of those details. Aishwarya, first up, tell us what are your sources telling us? Do we exactly have the number at which we are estimating a reduction as far as Russian crude oil import is concerned for the current month of February, because 2nd of Feb is when the US-India trade deal announcement came through, and it was clearly mentioned from the US side, from Donald Trump's Truth Social posts that we all knew, that he mentioned that he expects India to completely reduce Russian oil imports to zero and buy more from America and from Venezuela as well. Finally, do we have any indication towards that aspect?
Well, whether or not it will decline to completely negligible, that zero figure is something only time will tell, and we'll keep you posted on those details. But as far as our market sources that we spoke to, they have been telling us that the estimated February Russian crude imports will likely slump to less than 0.8 million barrels per day. Remember, in the first half of 2025, it was anywhere between 1.7 to 1.8 million barrels per day, and this is a significant decline and comes very close, as you rightly mentioned, to the US-India interim trade deal that we are still in talks with. Now, as far as replacing this Russian crude is concerned, that figure 1.7 million barrels per day will slowly begin to evolve. We will see diversification in different regions. What we've been given to understand is that we will now be looking towards Middle East, West Africa, Brazil, Nigeria, and more such countries to replace this Russian crude oil imports that we have been doing for years together. In order to fulfill that, we will be looking at or turning towards some of these countries. We've also recently, remember, at the India Energy Week, spoken to Oil Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, and he did mention about turning towards Canada for exploration. Of course, the US trade deals also comes with a trade-off for getting more energy products from the US as well. So as far as crude imports are concerned, India really heavily needs to also rely on its domestic production. India Energy Week, they also highlighted that domestic exploration also needs to go up. So all in all, we will be seeing an evolving crude basket in the months to come. Some have also suggested very cautiously that it could likely go down to zero, negligible as well. But we'll only have to see what happens in the markets going forward in March and April. So far, February it has declined to 0.8 million barrels per day is what our sources are telling us from the crude space.
Important update there, Aishwarya. Thanks a lot for getting us those details. It is estimated that the February imports of Russian crude oil have dropped to less than 0.8 million barrels per day. Remember, they have, of course, halved from what we were seeing in the previous months. It was almost 1.7, 1.8 million barrels per day is what Aishwarya tells us. And now for February, it could well be half of what in the last couple of months that we had been importing from Russia. And some experts also indicate there wouldn't be any surprise if it goes down to near zero. That's, however, not confirmed, and we will be awaiting a clarity on that as well. But Neeraj, to you, how would you really look at this development? Finally, some indication coming in that yes, we are reducing our imports as far as the Russian crude oil are concerned. We are looking forward to diversifying as well at this point in time. This all is taking place right after the US-India trade deal, and one of the asks was that we reduce our imports from Russia.
Yeah, this was important because, see, till now we have an interim trade deal. The final trade deal is yet to be signed by mid-March. So before that, we need to show our intent on whatever promises or agreements we reach with the US. If we have to go by that, so this is a very important update. So this goes in the direction that we will have, that mid-March deadline of the trade deal, and it will be sealed and it will be in the form that we've already seen it to be.
Okay. All right, viewers. We'll also shift focus to another big story that we need to update you about, and this is with regards to the Income Tax Act, which comes into being on April 1st of 2026. This is the new Income Tax Act that is finally coming into effect starting the new financial year, 1st of April 2026. The draft rules have been now released to understand what are the changes that will come into effect starting 1st of April. The draft consultations, income tax return filers will actually see no immediate change in the return forms in the upcoming assessment. Here is what the CBDT sources have clarified, and they've also said that returns for assessment year 2026-2027 will continue under the existing rules and ITR formats as well. The shift to the new Income Tax Act will be phased, and with the old and the new rules now running in parallel for this point in time, for incomes earned in FY 25-26, the taxpayers must file returns using the current forms itself. Remember, what's really interesting is that the relaxation actually comes in on the PAN threshold. Under the new draft rules, the PAN quoting threshold for bank deposits has been raised to 10 lakh rupees. Remember, up until now, in case you are looking forward to a bank deposit of over 50,000 rupees or a cash withdrawal of 50,000 rupees and above, you would need to furnish your PAN card. But under the new Income Tax Act, the new draft rules indicate that this threshold has been increased to 10 lakhs. You will now have to furnish PAN card only if you're withdrawing or depositing 10 lakh rupees in the banks. Officials also say these rules will be finalized by early March, and changes applying prospectively as well. For more on this, I'm now joined by Karishma Sudani as well. Karishma, these are some important updates that are coming in. Of course, 1st of April is when things will change, especially with regards to PAN. There seems to be a relief for the taxpayers there.
Well, Sakshi, rightly pointed out by you that income tax rules have proposed significantly raising transaction limits for quoting of PAN for cash deposits or withdrawals, not just in banks, but also when you're purchasing motor vehicles, property, and payment of hotel bills. But all of this, Sakshi, they comes with some kind of conundrum, which needs to be referred to because they are case-to-case basis, and also it's a per-day limit of what once upon a time, what currently is 50,000 and is proposed to be 10 lakhs if and when, of course, accepted by the department officially after Feb 22nd. That is the deadline until which the consultation are open for general public also to give in their inputs. We know that government has been working on this for long. In fact, it was introduced in the last year's union budget and will be implemented from 1st April 2026. However, the norms, the rules and forms that are being offered under the new income tax rules 2026 will only be applicable from next year, that is in 2027. One very key important inclusion as a part of these new rules has to be on crypto, which means that crypto firms will have to share their information, their financial doings of the current year by the beginning of next year with the tax department, and this way the CBDT is going to keep an eye out on them. And they officially, of course, now are part of this, not just under the new income tax rules of 30% plus TDS that they are paying, but in a more compliant way possible.
All right, Karishma, thanks for getting us all of that update as well. We are now joined by Mr. Sunil Garg, who is a CA and a tax expert, to understand this entire change in more detail. Warm welcome to you, Mr. Garg. Good afternoon. First up, your sense, starting 1st of April, we are going to see this new Income Tax Act and the changes come into effect. One aspect that my colleague Karishma pointed out is that the PAN card threshold has increased from 50,000 rupees to 10 lakh rupees for deposits and for withdrawals. What are some of the other changes that you believe will be important for taxpayers to know once this change comes into effect?
Sakshi, when Honorable Finance Minister presented the budget on 1st February, there was no change in the tax rates, no slab rate, nothing. And in the last two budget also you have seen that the thrust of the government was that the assessee should opt for the new regime, not the old regime. But surprisingly, on 7th of February, when the new draft rule were announced, the focus is again on the old regime rather than the new regime. You know what they have done? They have given a very big relief to the employees, education allowance and the hostel allowances. Earlier it was rupees 100 per child per month. And the increased limit is 3,000 per child per month. Means if you have two child, 72,000 per annum.
Wow.
And secondly, for the hostel, it was merely 300 per child per month for the last 50 years. They have increased it to 9,000 rupees per month per child, means 2.16 lakh per annum. Thirdly, for the disabled, it's a very good move. For disabled, the earlier transport allowance exemption limit was only 3,200 per month. It has been increased to 15,000 rupees per month, meaning 1.8 lakh rupees per annum. In all, and these will be around for the old regime only. Surprisingly, it's a surprise move.
It's a surprising move. It actually brings back the old tax regime into focus, because we were understanding, as per tax experts like you, about 80 to 90% people have already shifted to the new tax regime. And now it seems like old tax regime is also getting some sweeteners.
Balancing act. It's a balancing act from the government, and the government also understand the people who are still in the old regime, they might get some relief. And I think this hostel and education allowance, the total deduction now is around 2.88 lakhs per annum. In ATC, you know, we were having a deduction of 1.5 lakhs for the tuition fee and so many deposits also.
Sure.
But now for education, for hostel and education, you can get up to 2.88 lakhs tax free.
Wow.
No tax. So this is a surprising move, and I think the government has done a very good job. And for Divyang, for disabled, again, it has a...
There's some relief on HRA also, Mr. Garg, I believe, some HRA...
In HRA front, what they have done, they have included more cities. Now, you know, in HRA, the limits are 50% for metros and 40% for non-metro cities. But now they have included Pune, Ahmedabad, Bengaluru. Surprisingly, Noida, Faridabad and Gurgaon is not there. So might be, it is a draft rule, and we are sending the recommendation to the CBDT also to include these cities also.
Okay, so, got that.
Let us see what happens, but it's...
Absolutely, a welcome move is what Mr. Garg says. For all those viewers listening to us, in case you had shifted to the new tax regime, well, you will have to probably look at these new draft changes that have been made public and see for yourself whether you might still get a chance to save more taxes under the old tax regime. If you have two children, you get more tax relief under education. If you have somebody who is disabled, that person will get more relief under the old tax regime as well. HRA extension to more cities. So many more changes are coming in that will be effective starting 1st of April. Of course, there is a PAN relief as well. In case you're looking forward to deposit or withdraw cash from the banks, now the threshold is 10 10 lakh rupees. Only above that, you will have to furnish the PAN card and not above that 50,000 mark. So huge relief there as well. But there's also a change as far as the jewelry purchases or luxury hotel stay is concerned. Mr. Garg, there's also a PAN requirement for that as well. Hotel bills, how are you looking at that?
Yeah, I also want to add one more thing. You know, for salaried employees,
okay,
salaried employees can change the regime every year. They have the choice. You may be in the new regime. You can also go back to the old regime.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And secondly, regarding the PAN, it's again a welcome move. They have increased the threshold limit from 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs for property, 10 to 20 lakhs. And this 10 lakh limit for the savings accounts, 10 lakhs per annum. For hotel, from 50,000 to 1 lakh. But because you know Aadhaar and mobiles and the PAN are interlinked, so if you are giving the Aadhaar, the information are collected by the income tax department. So on the compliance, relief is there, but ultimately the information will be collected by the department. So please spend the money. If it's a earned money, it's a declared money. If you think the government will know, do not know, then you are mistaken.
Then you're mistaken. There's also an aspect of Aadhaar being deemed as PAN in case you do not furnish the PAN details in such spends as well. So viewers, there are a lot of changes. Of course, on Business Today Television, we will do much more detailed shows to get you an understanding of what are the changes that have come into effect. But thank you so much, Mr. Garg, for being with us on the show and giving us all those insights as to what has changed. One, viewers, remember, the old tax regime now comes back into focus after these changes as well. So check with your CA, go back to your calculations and see whether the old tax regime will now make more sense. Two, as Mr. Garg pointed out, every year you can have that option of switching between both the regimes, new and old, in case you have already filled up the new tax regime. Still check for yourself. There's still time till March 31st. You can speak to your employers and find out whether that will save you more taxes as well. And on the PAN, there is definitely good news coming in. Markets have shut short, 25,935, ending the day on a positive note. Most of the sectors have also entered higher, barring the PSU banks. The pharma, that's actually pulled down the Nifty bank slightly lower by 0.07% at the day's low or near the day's low point as well. But largely it's been a positive showing for the markets overall as well. But let me go across to Neeraj Diwan once again and try and understand from you. Neeraj, are there any significant pockets where you are looking at for investment opportunities? Any pockets that offer you more value at this point?
I think there is this capital good and engineering infrastructure segment, this broad sector. There are a lot of opportunities there because, the third quarter results were quite encouraging. They have indicated that the worst is over and things are improving for them. Order books are good. Margins were good in this quarter. So this is one space one should look at opportunities. And, other sectors which have been doing well, like whether it's metals or whether it's PSU bank. So on corrections, even those are good to stay invested in.
Right. We also have some questions coming in from our viewers, Neeraj. So we'll take some of those questions there. Rakesh from Faridabad wants to ask you, I've made good gains in textile stocks, but with today's correction, should I now start to book profits or continue holding?
I think today's reaction was a reaction to the Bangladesh tariffs that they have reduced. Correct. And the 0% duty that will be applicable if they're importing cotton from US. So I think we have very good companies. If you're invested in good companies in our Indian textile space, I think you can continue to stay invested. I think going ahead, definitely things will improve further for them after this US-India trade deal.
Okay. Suman from Kolkata wants to know, are multiplex stocks set for more gains from here? Well, we did see how PVR Inox reported stellar numbers in terms of profitability. Finally, we are seeing some, light as far as footfalls at the theatres are concerned. Of course, courtesy, good lineup from Bollywood, also good lineup from Hollywood coming into India. What is your sense right now for multiplex stocks that have had a very rough run over the last couple of years? Are they finally coming back?
They took that because they've consolidated. They didn't have any big releases also, but lately there have been good releases. And I think there's a good lineup which is there for this current year also. So after this consolidation and correction, I think there seems to be some upside potential which is there in multiplex stocks. I think one can look at investing if you are investing for a couple of years. I think definitely the rough path seems to be over for them.
All right, okay. We don't have more time, viewers, but thank you so much, Neeraj, for being with us and sharing with us all the insights on the markets and, of course, answering all those questions of our viewers as well. 25,935, that's where we end at. In case, viewers, you do have any questions related to your stock investment portfolio, your markets, mutual fund investments, gold, ETF related queries, send all your queries to us on the WhatsApp number that's flashing on your screens. Of course, we'll wrap up here, but do stay tuned for morning 9 a.m. action on market opening with Ababakaya tomorrow morning.
Presented by National Stock Exchange.
Look, this investment Guru's tips will double your money. Just claim the offer.
Double your money from any random group. Pay attention. Promising double returns, they'll lure you in tight. Unverified groups will send fake tips overnight, emptying your pockets before you can fight.
Well said, well said, well said.
SEBI and NSE advise consult only SEBI registered advisors and make payments only to verified accounts or UPI IDs. An investor awareness initiative by SEBI and NSE.